Hola mis corazones, let's make some turtle conchas. So I like to start by prepping the area. Makes it so much easier for me to clean in the end. Having gloves on is also helpful. So we're going to start with warming up that milk, throwing in some sugar in the milk and then the yeast, and sit and let it wait for 10 minutes. So this is the yeast. It's ready to go. I'm throwing it in the blender and I'm going to throw in some sugar, some salt, some eggs. Make sure no shells fall in there. Then we have some cinnamon, some vanilla, and I let it mix for a little bit. Another good tip is having a bowl there so you can throw all your scraps and all the extra stuff. So just makes everything easier in the end. I also like to have everything ready on a cart. So I suggest setting up all of your ingredients in a cart so you can just roll it out. So I'm going to go ahead and start throwing in the bread flour. And I do it slowly, a little bit at a time. Then I watch it. Look how beautiful it is. It smells so good. Finally, I add the butter. So once I know that the flour has been mixed, I start with the butter and then I change the attachment and just wait patiently. And use that time to clean up a little bit to make sure everything is nice and tidy. Ooh, so pretty. And this goes to show you don't need expensive things to make your dreams come true. This is a blender that I bought at Walmart for 25 bucks, I think. So I let everything, I take everything out of the bowl, the mixing bowl, and I put it in a bowl. Sorry, I look so distracted. I'm watching a show on Netflix. So once I get it all in the bowl, I play with it a little bit because it feels so good in my hands. And I kind of do that just to check it, to see if it's ready. Because now I'm going to let it rise. So this is me just getting an idea of what the dough needs. I've been to the point where I've gotten this far and have had to start from scratch because the dough is just not good. So I like to cover it up and then I put it in the oven. Now the oven is not on, so it's just in there for about 90 minutes. So I start putting together the topping, and the topping is just 1 cup of butter, 1 cup of flour, and 3/4 cups of either butter shortening or butter. And so you just have to play with it and knead it until it gets to that point. I am going to be adding some color to my topping. So the first color I chose is green because we're making turtles and most turtles are green. I also want a fun color though, so I also mix some purple. So once I'm done, I wrap it up nice and tight and then I put it in the fridge. So my dough has risen. It's been 90 minutes. That's my favorite part. I love doing that. So again, I'm going to play with it to see if it's at the right point, if it needs more time. And this one is perfect. So I'm going to start forming my balls of dough. See how pretty that is. These end up being very big in the end. So once you get an idea of what size you want your conchas to be, stick to that size either by weighing them or, by eye, by seeing what it looks like when you roll them out. So we are making turtle conchas. So I'm shaping the dough to look like a turtle. So I rolled a circle for the head, and then I made some little pieces for the legs, and then don't forget the tail. So here I am just playing with it to make sure it's nice and aesthetic looking, right? So one of the things that I found important is you kind of have to press the parts to the rolled dough because otherwise it'll bake separately. There's a couple of different ways you could do it as well. You can kind of poke a hole to make sure that the dough pieces are together. It's up to you, however you decide to do that. Mine ended up working out just fine. So what I'm doing now is I'm rolling those pieces for the legs and for the tail. How cute is that? I know it looks super long, but it won't look that long. Once I put the topping on top, it'll cover most of the legs and the tail, and they'll just be popping out from under the shell, so to speak. But when I tell you baking is therapeutic, I am not lying. It is so much fun to sit there and be creative. So I want to encourage everybody to find a hobby, something that gives them passion and excitement. This was so much fun. This was my first time doing this. I saw a video online of a lady doing this, and it wasn't even a tutorial. It was just something that I saw, and I told myself I could do it, and here I am doing it. There's a couple of other shapes I want to try. There's a duck shape and t-shirts, and there's just so many options out there. So whatever you want to do, you can do it. Just be patient and have fun with it. I think that's the most important thing, to have fun with your baking. So as you can see here, it does take me a while to work with every turtle piece, but this is what they look like in the end. Here, they've basically risen because it's taking me so long to get through them. So before I give them more time to rise on their own, I do need to put the concha shell on there. So earlier you saw me mix that, and that's the green. These make me so happy. They're just so cute. Can you see how happy I am? So I'm putting the shell on top, which is the cookie topping. Adorable. Adorable. Are you kidding me? So here are some green and purple, and then there's many different ways that you could do this. You could just use something sharp and make squares across the top to make it look more like a turtle, but I just want to do that. See how easy it is for me to clean up using this plastic wrap? The other way around, your countertops will get really goopy and filled of oil. This is the final product. If you want more, go to my Instagram bio. Here are the recipes. Thank you.